Hi everyone. So this video will be discussing title details. In particular, we're going to touch on classification of land, types of title, and lease expiry. Now, for the first topic, we're going to discover that for classification of land, land can be classified into three, which is the first one, town land, tanah bandar, village land, tanah pekan, and then country land, tanah desa. And the second topic will be types of title. As what we've discussed in class, there are two types of title, which is qualified title, temporary title, and then we have the final title. Qualified title can be divided into registry and land office title. Final title can also be divided into registry title and land office title. So therefore, we have four types of titles. And then these titles can be either freehold or leasehold. And from that, we want to learn about the treatment or what happens when the leasehold runs out. The leasehold expires. So that's the third part of this lecture. Now, before we discuss the three topics in this video, let us pause for a while and think about how land titles can give the opportunity for the authorities to control development. This is what we're going to learn through land details. We are going to learn that details contain provisions such as category of land use, express conditions, implied conditions, and then a way to restrict the transfer, for instance, from one person to another by restriction in interest. So those are the ways how the authorities can control land development. And in particular, the details that we're going to discuss in this lecture and the next lecture will enable the land administration objectives to be achieved. First of all, it ensures organized development. When we specify what category of land use, but available or legally available for the land to use. For instance, agri, building, or industry. When we specify the land use, it enables the authority to determine what kind of development in that area. And if you want to develop something else, you need to go through what we call land development matters, the process. For instance, conversion, subdivision. So that is one way for the authority to control the development and to organize the development in that area, to ensure that there is harmony, for instance, not having a residential area directly next to an industrial area, because that will not be good for the well-being of the residents of the residential scheme. So through zoning, through planning of amenities and infrastructure, by for instance, by specifying if you want to develop in this area, you have to reserve a certain portion of your land as open area, for instance, or you have to reserve some part of your land as children's playground, for instance, of tempat ibadah, for instance, of worship, places of worship, for instance. That's for the well-being of the people, of the occupants in that area. And then population density control to ensure public health, by one method or one mechanism under planning, which is also related to land law, is by specifying how many people can live in one area at one given time. So that is known as the population density. So that's how, by controlling the population density, you can in fact control the traffic, for instance, control the demand on the infrastructure, for instance. So there will not be an overburden to the carrying capacity of the site. We call it carrying capacity. If the carrying capacity is lower than the demand for the infrastructure, for instance, water supply, the demand is higher than what can be provided on the site, akan ada water shortage. So that would not be good, yeah, for not only for living but for businesses, hotels for instance. They need water for their guests, for the laundry and so on. Okay. Now, the second one is to ensure optimum land usage, because as we mentioned before, land is a scarce resource. Okay, you cannot or we cannot afford to waste land. Land waste can occur through land development, for instance, abandoned projects. Yeah, so if we know that there is an oversupply of retail, for instance, in that area, okay, the government can control further retail development by freezing conversion or freezing land development in that area, not allowing or building land under residential, for instance, to be converted into retail. Okay, that's one way to control the land development, to ensure optimum land usage. Land usage in terms of avoiding abandoned projects, avoiding oversupply of certain types of property. Okay, so that's the one way how development can be controlled through land title, the details on the land title. And finally, okay, by controlling the land titles, the government will be able to identify land or areas for future land acquisition. Okay, knowing that the title carries, for instance, agri land. Contains the category of land use is for agri. Okay, so there will be lower costs when there is land when land is needed for future development in the area, for instance, for a school, for infrastructure projects. Yeah, so by specifying the category of land use on the title, okay, the government will be able to achieve these land administration objectives. Now we're going to begin with the classification of land under National Land Code. Okay. Now, not to be confused with the category of land. Okay. Land category under National Land Code is governed by Section 52. Classification of land is governed by Section 51. Both are different things. When we talk about classification of land, we talk about the physical location of the land. Okay, and the determinant is the shoreline, garisan pantai. Okay, whereas okay, the category of land use is not the physical location of the land, but rather the use. Okay, category of land use under Section 52 deals with the three uses: agri, building, and also industrial land. Okay, but classification of land, okay, the determinant is the shoreline, garisan pantai, because we're talking about the physical aspect of land under National Land Code. Now, as mentioned before, classification of land is provided under Section 51 of National Land Code. Okay, classification of land. Now, the determinant of classification of land is the shoreline, garisan pantai. Okay, so what is garisan pantai? Garisan pantai, shoreline, is the high water mark of ordinary spring tides. So, air pasang, garisan air pasang. Yang biasa, air pasang yang biasa. So, high water mark of ordinary spring tides. Yang biasa saja, bukan air pasang tinggi. Ya. So, air pasang biasa. It's the high water mark of ordinary spring tides. That is the shoreline. Between the high water mark and the low water mark is the foreshore, the pantai. Foreshore, it says there, is between the shoreline and low water mark. So, it's between the high water mark and low water mark. Between garisan air pasang, garisan air surut is the foreshore. Okay, garisan pantai. Now, is the pantai, bukan garisan, is the pantai. Seabed is anywhere is the area below the low water mark. Seabed itu maknanya dah laut lah tu. That is the seabed, dasar laut. Okay. Now we go back to the shoreline just now. The shoreline. So if you can imagine, this is a cross section lah. Of land, typical lah of land. So we have the shoreline, and then we have land above the shoreline, and then we have the land below the shoreline, below the shoreline, above the shoreline, below the shoreline. Now, the land above the shoreline can be divided into three classes or three classifications. Now, and land above the shoreline is provided by Section 51 sub 1 sub A. Okay, we have town land, village land, country land. Town land, tanah bandar, village land, tanah pekan, country land, tanah desa. Now, it says if you read, if you read there, town land and village land, any land that has been declared under Section 11 or Section 442, either as a town or either as a village. So, apa saja yang telah isytiharkan sebagai tanah bandar sebagai bandar tanah bandar. Apa saja tanah yang telah diisytiharkan sebagai pekan ialah tanah pekan. Okay. Quite straightforward. So what is tanah desa then? Country land. Country land is all land above the shoreline other than tanah bandar, other than town land, other than village land. Tanah pekan just now. So other than that, semua tu adalah country land, tanah desa. Quite straightforward. We have three types. Town land, village land, country land. So how do we know whether the land is town land or village land? You must look at the declaration. Declaration sebagai bandar ke sebagai pekan. Okay. Under Section 11 or 442. Okay. So that will tell you whether the land is town land or village land. Other than the two categories just now, other than two classes just now, other than town land, other than village land, that land is known as country land, tanah desa. Now, foreshore and seabed is governed by Section 51 sub 1B pula. Okay, foreshore means pantai, seabed is dasar laut. Now, the Malay translation there, okay, you can jot down. Town land, tanah bandar, village land, tanah pekan, country land, tanah desa, foreshore pesisir pantai, and then we have the seabed, which is dasar laut. Now, all land classifications may be disposed. Again, we look at the definition of land disposal. We know from before that land can be disposed by alienation and by non-alienation, right? That's what the term that I use in class, non-alienation. So we know that by disposal, the end result will be land title, but by non-alienation, we have permits, a license, and also we have reserve, right? So it says that all land classifications may be disposed. It doesn't matter whether it's land above the shoreline, okay, which contains the three types just now, the town land, village land, or country land. Itu semua can be disposed. But foreshore and seabed also can be disposed. Boleh sebenarnya disposed. However, tetapi foreshore and seabed may not be disposed for a term exceeding 99 years. The disposal just now, okay, it cannot be for freehold. Mestilah for a term not more than 99 years, meaning it's a leasehold lah. So again, all foreshore and seabed may be disposed, but only as leasehold, and not more than 99 years. Yeah. And it says that town land and village land, okay, tanah bandar, tanah pekan tu are not the same as local authority area, council area. Dia bukan kawasan majlis. Not necessarily so. Sebab dia punya gazetting tu. We see here, gazette. Town land and village land, tanah pekan, tanah bandar dan tanah pekan is gazetted under National Land Code 1965. Whereas the local authority area, kawasan majlis, is gazetted under Local Government Act 1976. So there's a difference there in terms of the acts that are used to gazette those lands. Tanah bandar, tanah pekan, gazetted under Section 11 or Section 442, okay, National Land Code. However, local authority area gazetted under Local Government Act. Okay, and it says that local authority area may contain town and village land. Tak semestinya semua tanah bandar, tanah pekan tu kawasan majlis. Okay, please, we cannot assume that if the land is within a pekan, tanah tu mesti diselenggara oleh majlis perbandaran, majlis bandaraya. No, it's two different things. Yeah. The town land, village land, tanah bandar, tanah pekan under National Land Code are different from local authority area, kawasan majlis under Local Government Act. Now, the importance here is, okay, the local authority is responsible to manage the land within its local authority area. Dia wajib, for instance, okay, it's mandatory for the local authority to provide services such as garbage collection, such as lighting for instance, ya, potong rumput for instance. So tak semestinya kalau tanah tu tanah pekan, local authority kena selenggara, kena maintain kawasan tu, because that tanah pekan may not be part of local authority area. Now we go to the second topic, which is types of land titles. Okay, this is where, okay, we make the distinction between the four categories just now, or the four types of land titles just now, the QT, the FT, okay, and then furthermore we can divide into leasehold and freehold. Okay, now since the title contains important details pertaining to the land, okay, and we go back to the two principles under torrent system, the mirror principle and also the curtain principle. So it's very important for us to determine the latest or the most current details on the land, and that is done by way of title search. Okay, title search is also known as carian hak milik. So it's conducted either at the land office or PTG. Okay, why either? It is because we need to know where the other copy, the office copy of the title is kept. If it's a land office title, then the copy of the title, sorry, not copy, the document hak milik daftar will be kept at the land office. If it's a PTG title, the document hak milik daftar of the title will be kept at the PTG. So we must know whether the land is under land office title or PTG title. Then only you will know where to conduct your title search. Now why? Why do we conduct the title search? First of all, to verify the current owners. If there's any dealings, then the previous owner will have changed the name to the latest owner lah. So we need to verify who the current owners are. Owners there, because you may have more than one owner on the land. Now, secondly, to verify the particulars of the land. Okay, for instance, to determine if the qualified title has been converted to final title, or even we want to know the what do you call it? Okay, if it's a QT which is transformed or converted to a final title, if the provisional land area has changed. So we want to verify the particulars of the land to see if there's, for instance, any application for conversion before. So we want to know whether the category of land use has changed from building to industry, for instance. So that's why we conduct title search. And then another reason would be to determine the land is free from encumbrances. So we want to know if the land is dibebankan. Okay, encumbrances mean bebanan. So we want to know if there are caveats on the land. We want to see if there's any bebanan, a caveat, registrar caveat, private caveat on the land. Charge is also a bebanan. Charge is also an encumbrance. So we want to see the bebanan so that if you want to buy, we know what we are facing. Okay. To determine any restriction in interest. So if we intend to purchase the land, we conduct the title search to look at the restriction in interest, sekatan kepentingan. Okay, for instance, if there's a restriction that asks us to obtain the written permission of the state authority, then we must obtain the written permission of the state authority before we can conduct any dealings. So that's why we conduct title search. And then, okay, we conduct title search to look for Section 4 or Section 8 notice. Section 4 or Section 8 notice of the Land Acquisition Act, on the land. Sebab kalau ada section, those notices, we will know that there is one, Section 4 to intention from the government to acquire the land. Kalau Section 8 pula, a declaration from the government that the land will be acquired. So that's why we conduct the title search. Okay, to know the latest happenings lah on the land, particularly in this case, land acquisition. Sebab if we know that if you want to buy a land, and then we know that the land the government intends to acquire the land in the future, adakah kita nak beli lagi tanah tu kan? And at the same time, mungkin tanah tu nanti dah tak ada value, ya. sebab dah kerajaan dah ambil balik. Mungkin ada dia punya implications or impact from the acquisition. Contohnya tanah terbelah dua, kan, severance for instance. Okay, so it's good for us to know if there's any intention or declaration for land acquisition on the land. And there are two types of title search. Okay, the first one is private land title search. Private search lah kita panggil, carian persendirian. Okay, private search, which is a printout issued by the respective land office or PTG without endorsement. Dia cuma satu printout komputer sahaja, computer printout of the latest title details without any endorsement. Tiada chop, tiada signature yang menyatakan ini adalah dokumen rasmi. On the other hand, we have the second type of title search, which is official search. Carian rasmi, which is a printout carrying the land registrar stamp and endorsed by the officer's signature. So under the hand and the seal, okay, of the registrar. Okay, on the last page dia adalah chop rasmi itu dan tanda tangan rasmi itu. So this, okay, normally we do the carian rasmi because this is the supporting document used for submission to government agencies in a transaction. Kalau kita nak beli, nak jual, so we need the official document lah for the transaction. So instead of doing a carian persendirian, which is a printout only, a mere printout without any endorsement from the registrar, kita jalankan carian rasmi. Normally, okay, carian rasmi is much more expensive to do compared to carian persendirian. So in most states in Malaysia, the carian persendirian nowadays is about RM30, but carian rasmi can cost about RM100 due to its value lah, sebab dia ada endorsement tersebut. Now, regarding types of land titles, there are two basic types of land titles. So we have the registry titles and then we have the land office titles. Now, the first type of land titles, which is the registry titles ataupun hak milik pendaftar, okay, the registry titles are registered by the registrar of titles, and all land matters, for instance subdivision, conversion, what else, title search, okay, that is to be done at the Director of Lands and Mines Office at the PTG, and there's one PTG per state. Okay, so and normally the PTG is located at the capital of the state. For instance, for Terengganu, Kuala Terengganu; for Pahang, Kuantan; for Johor, Johor Bahru, and so on. Okay, for Selangor, Shah Alam, and so on. And this includes town or village land. Okay, tanah bandar and tanah pekan are automatically under registry titles. So you do the title search at PTG for town or village land. Now, for country land exceeding 4 hectares, okay, that is also under registry title. So big parcel of land, big parcel of tanah desa, big parcel of country land. 4 hectares is equivalent to 10 acres. So any country land which is above 10 acres, aka above 4 hectares, okay, the title is under PTG. So if you want to conduct title search, it's at the PTG. If you want to undertake subdivision, conversions, simultaneous conversion and subdivision, you nak apa lagi, you nak do any dealings, the permohonan itu semuanya di PTG. Okay, and then another category is the foreshore and seabed, tanah pesisir tadi, and also dasar laut. And not to forget, we haven't covered this yet, but strata titles is also under PTG. Now, the second type of title is the land office titles. Land office titles, hak milik pejabat tanah. So, is there only one land office per state? Bukan, ya. Land office lain. Land office tu per daerah. Now, land office titles are registered by land administrator, pentadbir tanah, pentadbir tanah daerah. So, see the difference there? Okay, registry titles, you have the registrar of titles at PTG, but land office titles, you have the land administrator at land office. So, all land matters at land office. Title search, conversion application, subdivision application, surrender and realienation, apa lagi, to do any dealings, itu semua dekat land office. And we have, as I mentioned before, one land office per district. Satu pejabat tanah untuk setiap daerah. So means kalau Terengganu ada 7 daerah, ada 7 lah land office. Kalau Selangor ada 6 daerah, ada 6 lah land office di Selangor. And okay, normally land office titles are country land not exceeding 4 hectares. Tanah desa yang small size, tak melebihi 10 ekar, not exceeding 4 hectares. Okay, will be considered or will be under land office titles. Now, another distinction on the title is whether the title is held under freehold or leasehold. Ini berkenaan dengan tempoh pegangan tu. Okay, freehold or leasehold depends on the holding, on the tenure, the term, the number of years on the title. Okay, whether term in perpetuity, which is freehold, or for a number of years, which is leasehold. Okay, so freehold is pegangan selama-lamanya. So means that you can be the owner of the land until the end of time. Atau you punya ownership tu will end until you transfer to another person, for instance, or you die, for instance, or if the land is consumed by the sea, yang mana tanah itu, if the land is consumed by the sea, land now reverts to the state authority, for instance. But otherwise, the land will be yours forever and ever, term in perpetuity. Another one is leasehold for a number of years. Okay, so means it's a holding which is only for a certain number of years, predetermined number of years. So that means that there will be an expiry date lah. Okay, now for leasehold title, leasehold title can be disposed for a tenure of either 30 years, 60 years, 99 years, or up to 999 years. Normally in Malaysia, there's 4 terms lah. 4 jenis tahun, 4 jenis pegangan for leasehold, which is 30 years, 60 years, 99 years, or up to 999 years. Now the logic behind 30 years is 30 years is 1 generation. Okay, so 60 years is 2 generations, 99, 3 generations. So you can be a holder of the land where you are staying, where you are doing a business for 1 generation, your own lifetime, ataupun 60 years, yours and your children, 99 years, you, your children, and also your grandchildren. 999 years, you kira lah berapa generation. And once the leasehold expires, the land reverts to the state authority. Dia akan kembali kepada tanah leasehold, tanah pajakan. Bila pajakan itu berakhir, dia akan kembali kepada state authority. The land reverts. Reverts means kembali lah, akan balik semula, okay, kepada state authority unless the property owner applies for extension before the expiry. Minta extension lah, apply for pelanjutan tempoh masa. Otherwise, the property owner whose lease period has expired and wants to keep owning the land can renew the lease. Ada 2 option di situ. One is to extend the lease, the other one is to renew the lease. Okay, so one you wait until the end of the lease and then you renew. So which one is more risky, kan? Of course, you renew. Renewal is more risky than extension. Extension tu tak tunggu sampai habis. You terus you have for instance 10 years before expiry, you minta extension siap-siap. Renew normally towards the end tu, you ask for renewal, whereby the consent or the approval of the application for renew ataupun to extend is up to the state authority. Okay, it's not mandatory, tak terpaksa, it's not compulsory for the state authority to approve the application for renewal or extension. Tak wajib state authority beri kelulusan tersebut. So it can be done, but also there's no 100% guarantee that the owner will get his leasehold renewed or extended. Now, this diagram, okay, shows you the different types of titles, okay, which you can see it begins with the determination whether the new title is a land office title or a PTG title. Okay, so you can see on the far left, okay, the process of land alienation. Okay, it begins with application from the applicant lah. Okay, so if the application for the alienation is approved, okay, the state exco will decide whether the new land title is under land office or under PTG. Now remember, just now the distinction between PTG title and also land office title. PTG tu the categories are 3 kan. We have the town land, town or village land. We have any country land above 4 hectares, and also we have foreshore seabed, right? Now, for land administrator title, which the records will be at land office. Okay, we have 2 types of tenure, which is either freehold or leasehold. Same with the registry title or the registrar title, whereby the records will be at PTG. You can see that the registry title can be either freehold or leasehold. So at this stage, okay, according to the types of tenure, we can have 4 types. We can have land office freehold, land office leasehold, PTG freehold, PTG leasehold. Kan? Hopefully that's the final one. 4 categories. 4 types of titles. But okay, in order for the title to be issued, first of all, okay, the new titles will be issued under QT, qualified title, whereby the final survey is not yet conducted lah. We have provisional land area instead of surveyed land area. Okay, ini title sementara, hak milik sementara. You see there the name HSM dengan HSD ya. Now, for the qualified title under land office, the title, the nama of the name of the title will be HSM, hak milik sementara mukim, HSM, for both qualified and qualified title of freehold and qualified title of leasehold. Dua-dua pun sama, HSM, hak milik sementara mukim. But for the qualified title under PTG, for both freehold and leasehold, the qualified title will be under HSD. HSD is hak milik sementara daerah. Okay, hak milik sementara daerah. So we have there, okay, the 4 QTs. Okay, 4 QTs. We have the QT for freehold under land office, QT for leasehold under land office, QT for freehold under PTG, QT for leasehold under PTG. Semua QT tu under HS, hak milik sementara. Tetapi for land office, the HS is HSM. For the QT under PTG, the HS is HSD, hak milik sementara daerah. Okay, then okay, finally we do the final survey. We conduct the final survey. Okay, yang mana kita dah dapat dia punya final, we dapat dia punya surveyed land area, the what you call the QT title for freehold. Okay, now instead of HSM, dia akan converted to GM. GM is geran mukim grant, ya, geran mukim. For the qualified title under leasehold, it now becomes PM, pajakan mukim or mukim lease. Sebab dia pajakan kan, pajakan is lease ya. So PM. For qualified title under freehold, for PTG title, okay, the final title will be GN ataupun geran. Dia akan eja, spell out in full, GERAN, geran negeri lah GN. And also finally for leasehold, okay, leasehold, the final title will be PN. Again, let me just repeat. There are 2 types of title, two officers that will hold the title, the land office, the PTG. The qualified title will be under leasehold or freehold. Qualified title or the title lah, the final title, the title itself, the land title will be under leasehold or freehold. So for the freehold land office, the final title will be GM, geran mukim. For leasehold under land office, it will be PM, pajakan mukim. For freehold under PTG, the title, the final title will be GN ataupun geran, GERAN, geran negeri. Okay. For the leasehold under PTG, it will be under PN, pajakan negeri. Tengok situ beza dia ya. Beza dia, whereby you can see that kalau PTG dia semua negeri, at negeri punya level, state level. That's why the PTG is located at the state capital kan. And at the for the less important titles lah, for the country land less than 10 acres, semua tu disimpan. All the details of the titles will be kept at the land office. That's why dia pun nama dia pun mukim, geran mukim, pajakan mukim. So there you can see the distinction, yeah, between the titles. Now, the previous diagram shows us at the end of the day there are 4 land title types. Yeah, we have the leasehold land office, freehold land office, leasehold PTG, freehold PTG. Okay. Now, the first type, and this slide will show you the corresponding forms. Borang, nama borang dia. Corresponding forms. There is also another hint or another indication where you should do your title search. So for qualified title corresponding to registry title, the form is 11AK. Itu very specific under National Land Code. So for QT registry titles, which is at PTG, the form borangnya ialah 11AK. After survey, it will become either geran just now, geran negeri tu kan, the GERAN, geran tu, it will be for freehold, because geran is freehold, it will be in 5BK. The title, the form of the title will be form 5BK. For state lease, okay, pajakan negeri, the form will be 5CK. So freehold, leasehold lah. Geran is freehold, lease is leasehold lah. So 5B for geran, the final title is under freehold. 5C is for pajakan negeri, the title is under leasehold. Now, what about land office? The qualified title corresponding to land office titles, the form used is 11B. Okay, nampak sebeza dia. A is for PTG, okay. B is for land office. But 11, both 11 is for qualified title. You will see the pattern. Senang nak ingat nanti. After survey, the QT of land office will become 2 jugalah. Ada freehold and a leasehold kan. Now, at the land office, the final title for the freehold will be mukim geran. Geran mukim GM just now. The form is 5DK. Okay, but for mukim lease, the pajakan mukim just now for a term number of years. Okay, maknanya for leasehold lah, for a number of years lah. The form will be 5EK. So nampak situ dia punya pattern tu. For QT, the form is 11. Tapi untuk PTG, it's A. Untuk land office, it's B. QT lah, QT. Yang belum survey lagi kan, sementara. Then after survey dia akan become, okay, for PTG, okay, which is the freehold PTG, the form is 5B. The leasehold PTG, the pajakan negeri, it will be under form 5C. Okay. For freehold land office, the title is 5D. But for leasehold land office, the form will be 5E. So senang nak ingat macam tu. You kena ingat ke? It's good to know. Yeah, good to know. And you see the what you call the difference in terms of the number. 11 is for qualified. 5 is for the final title. So that's in terms of forms, this is how the forms are organized from qualified title to the final titles, and then according to whether it's under freehold or under leasehold. This slide will illustrate to you lah, using title samples of what we discussed just now. Yeah, the qualified title will become the final title, and what the names of the forms. Yeah, qualified title that becomes freehold, what's the name of the form? The qualified title that becomes the leasehold, what will be the name of the form? So here we can see 11AK. Now remember, A stands for what? For PTG title, right? So this is a qualified title for a PTG title, a title that is kept at the PTG. So borangnya 11AK. You see there the heading? The heading of the title 11AK. Borang 11AK. Jadual ke-14 kan? You can see there. So this is hak milik sementara bersamaan dengan hak milik pejabat pendaftaran, PTG lah, Registry Office or Registrar Office. So 11AK is hak milik sementara. Upon survey, okay, it will become either two lah. Kalau freehold, it's 5B. Okay, you can see there. Okay, borang 5 BK. Okay, jadual ke-14 geran GERAN kan. As I mentioned before, this is also equivalent to geran negeri lah. State grant, geran negeri. So you can see there 5BK is geran GERAN, and the one below 5CK pajakan negeri kan. 5CK is the state lease. So the 5BK is the state freehold, the PTG freehold, okay, for final title. The one below is the leasehold, okay, for state, okay, final title kan. You can see there 5CK, 5BK. You can freeze this slide, okay, to familiarize yourself with the forms 11AK, 5BK, and also 5CK. Now, so this slide will show you, okay, for the similar situation, but for land office titles. So 11BK is qualified title for land office title. Nampak atas tu, can you see the heading above? Borang 11BK jadual ke-14, hak milik sementara bersamaan dengan hak milik pejabat tanah. So this is a qualified title corresponding to the land office, and the form title or the form number is 11BK. Upon survey, okay, it will become 5DK and 5EK. Sorry. Now, for the freehold, geran mukim, okay, the form is 5DK. But for the leasehold pajakan mukim, the form is 5E. Again, you can freeze, okay, this slide, okay, to familiarize yourself, okay, with the titles. Now we know that there are two holdings on the land, which is one in perpetuity forever. The second one is for a term, for a fixed term, for a number of years, which is leasehold. Now, what happens when the term expires lah? Leasehold tu dah expire. What happens during the expiry of the leasehold? So we want to discuss in the next slides. Now, this title sample shows you Form 5CK, which is pajakan negeri, the final title for PTG. What do you call it? PTG title. PTG title, which is under leasehold. Equivalent to this for the land office title is Form 5E lah, EK. Sama saja, both will contain this statement, pajakan selama berapa tahun dan tempoh berakhir pada bila. So in this case, this Form 5CK shows you that this is a 99-year leasehold, okay, pajakan 99 tahun, and the expiry date is 28 September 2092. Ada dia punya tempoh berakhir pajakan. Now, the leasehold of pegangan pajakan is basically state land that is alienated for use for a certain number of years, hanya untuk beberapa tahun tertentu sahaja, and the bilangan tahun tu telah ditentukan and must appear on the form, either 5CK or EK just now, right? So we have 30 years, 60 years, 99 years, or 999 years. And as I mentioned, we have the tempoh pajakan, the term of the leasehold, whether 30 years, 60, 99, or 99 years. The date of the expiry, which is tempoh tamat pegangan pajakan tersebut. And at the end of the lease, this is very important, the land will revert to the state authority. Tanah itu akan dikembalikan kepada pihak berkuasa negeri and go back to the definition of land under Section 5. Bukan ke land tu termasuk the component number 3, element number 3. Anything attached to the land kan. So termasuklah building. So during the leasehold period, if the owner has improved the land by building a building, ada fence ke, semua attachments itu now is considered as land. So the building, the fence, the infrastructure, everything on the land will go to the state authority upon the expiry of the leasehold. Bukan tanah kosong saja, but everything attached to the land, because that's the definition of land, anything attached to the land. And also don't forget, anything attached to the land. So apa-apa saja fixtures in the building pun termasuklah sebagai tanah under section 5. And upon expiry of the leasehold akan menjadi tanah negeri, tanah kerajaan. Now it's very important for us real estate people lah to know how to calculate the remaining term. Okay, the remaining term. Now let's do this together. Calculate the remaining term from today's date and assume that today's date is 20th April 2023. Can you freeze this slide and then calculate the remaining term from 20th April 2023? Okay. Okay, now so this slide will show you the answers. Please don't peep, do the calculation first to make sure that you know how to do it. Okay, now the first example or the first question just now, leasehold 99 years expiring 28 July 2082. Okay, this is how you calculate. It's quite easy in this one. It's quite an easy example because you can deduct the month of today, the 4 tu kan, from 7. So 7 minus 4. You do that first. You have to deduct the month first before the year. Okay. So it's 7 minus 4 is 3. 82 minus 23 is 59 years. So you have the remaining term of 59 years and 3 months. You will do this calculation, this remaining term. This will be indicated in the valuation report or in consultancy report but they will want to see the unexpired term, berapa tahun. So you must know to deduct the month first before the year. Now the second example is a bit difficult because the month tu kan, the month of the expiry date is smaller than today's date, which is 24 kan. So can you minus 3 kan? Normally in normal maths is you add 10 kan, but since this is month, okay, you must add 12. 45 tu minus 1 tahun, so it becomes 2044. The 1 year, the 12 months, you must add to 3. So you have 3 plus 12, which is 15, minus 4 months, you have 11 months unexpired. Okay, but the year, since you have 2044, satu tu dah bagi pinjam, you have borrowed from the month before, so you now have 2044. 44 minus 23 is 21 years. Again, be careful when you deduct for the month, because the month, 1 year has 12 months, bukan 10. Ramai orang buat kesalahan di situ. Now this is again quite a straightforward example, not very straightforward because the month, the expiry date of the month, the month of the expiry date is lower than today's date, which is April. Okay, so again you borrow 1 year, 12 months from 2073, from the expiry year just now. Okay, so 1 plus 12, that's 13. 13 minus 4 is 9 months. And then you have 2073, you minus 1 year just now. 2072 minus 2023, you have 49 years. So the unexpired term is 49 years, 9 months. And finally, the fourth example, we have that, it's quite easy. 12 minus 4, straightforward, you have 8 months. And then 32 minus 23 is 9 years. But the thing that I want to highlight here is the smaller the number of years, which is in this case 9 years. Okay, you have to take action, not to just let the term to keep on decreasing. You need to at this stage, okay, think about whether to renew or extend the lease and prepare the money for that, because you need to pay for the premium of extension, of renewal. Okay. And this has implications for the value as well. Okay, the unexpired term just now. The smaller the number of years of the unexpired term, the lower the value will be, because one, marketability lah. there will be less people wanting to buy the property now, because because people will know that there's a small number of years remaining on the lease. So that's why people dia punya demand tu dah turun. So demand dah turun, price pun turun, demand, price, value pun as well will be affected. Okay, so this has implications lah. Now, what will be the effects of leasehold expiry just now? Remember, I asked you to consider the definition of land, yeah, under Section 5 National Land Code. Now, it says that upon expiry of lease, the land will become state land. Dah tak ada lease, no rights on the land anymore. So the leasehold will revert to state land, menjadi tanah kerajaan balik, tanah kerajaan. And fresh application must be made to the state authority, whereby the state authority may or may not approve the fresh application. And also, the application may include fresh premium. Kena bayar pula premium land alienation yang baru. Kan, remember we talk about premium for land alienation, yeah, in our lecture on land alienation. For same case here, you have to pay for the new alienation. And this is more important, all permanent buildings and fixtures will vest in the state authority. Vest maknanya akan terletak hak, will be given lah, will be vest, terletak hak kepada state authority. No compensation will be paid, it's not payable. No compensation payable unless expressly provided. Selalunya tiada ganti rugi, tiada pampasan diberikan, because you know that you have a certain number of years only. Okay, then after that you must make the proper arrangements, whether to renew or extend or risk this lah, all your buildings, all the fixtures to be vest, to be given together with the land to state authority. Now there are two options: extension under Section 90A or renewal under Section 76. Now we look at the method of leasehold extension under Section 90A National Land Code. Extension means to extend lah, pemanjangan kan. So application to extend must be made before the expiry of the term. Mesti dibuat sebelum tempoh pajakan itu tamat. Okay, that is when you say that is extension. Renewal means dah tamat, you renew kan. So that's the difference there between extension and renewal. So for extension, again, application to extend must be made before the expiry of the term. Application by the proprietor, dibuat oleh pemilik tanah through a form, melalui satu borang khas lah. Dan this form is surrender and re-alienation, mengikut prosedur surrender and re-alienation to extend lease duration. Sangat spesifik. So you surrender, you have a remaining number of years, yeah, on your land, tapi you surrender that remaining number of years dengan harapan diberi balik, okay, satu lease yang baru, leasehold yang baru, okay, and a new duration lah, sama ada 30 years, 60 years, 99 years or 999 years, okay. Then once the state exco gives the approval, the owner is notified and the owner is required to submit Form 12A, which entails giving back the property for re-alienation. Beri balik, serah balik. Okay? Untuk re-alienation, untuk diberi milik semula. Alienation, beri milik. Re-alienation, beri milik semula. If the application is approved, Form 5A, 5A, remember just now 5B, 5C, 5D, 5E kan? 5A is the notice that land revenue is due. 5A tu selalunya minta bayaran, ya. Notice that land revenue is due. Hasil tanah. Hasil tanah means payment on the land, charges on the land, fees on the land. Ada bayaran yang diperlukan, yang sedang dituntut untuk dibayar atas tanah tersebut. So 5A is notice that land revenue is due. Okay, is issued to the property owner. So again, this Form 5A, okay, can be the a notice which is issued during the first alienation. Could be here as well, re-alienation. Could be also, contoh lain ni, tunggakan. Tunggakan ni bayaran cukai tanah, Form 5A, notice that land revenue is due. Kan? So samalah. 5A ni berkenaan tuntutan daripada state authority berkenaan dengan hasil tanah. They are telling you you have a certain amount that is due on the land dan perlu dibayar. Okay, and upon payment of the premium, the new land title will be registered. Bayar saja baru register. Kan, proses registration tu for land alienation is quite long. Okay, and the registration of the new title, which is the new lease lah, new leasehold, new lease term, whether 30 years ke, 60 years ke, 99 years ke, 99 years ke, that new term will not be registered until all the monies yang dituntut di bawah Form 5A telah dibayar. Surat kelulusan daripada state authority has no power, is no guarantee yang you akan diberi tanah tersebut. Mesti bayar dulu hasil-hasil tanah. Now, the surrender and re-alienation could take at least 1 year. Hence, property owners should start applying for an extension at least 2 to 3 years before the lease expires. Perlu masa yang lama untuk diproses, decide at the state exco, lepas tu notis tuntutan lagi, and so on so forth, kan. So perlukan masa. Therefore, the landowner must do this procedure, the extension early on, bukan tunggu last minute. Now, very quickly, quick question. According to Section 9A, the lease extension is now, application to extend the term is made by the proprietor. Now, imagine you are living on a strata scheme macam ni lah. Strata scheme. It can be residential, it can be mixed, integrated mixed strata, tak kisahlah. Okay, but say the land upon which your strata scheme is located tu, tanah tu, the master lot tu, tanah dia dah nak expire. Sebab kita kata, we said just now, kan, the reversion, upon expiry of the leasehold, the reversion of the land will include all the buildings on the land, kan. So kita sebagai strata owners pun kita takut lah, kan. If the leasehold of the master lot tu expire, you takutlah you punya apartment pun akan dikembalikan, akan diberi transfer kepada state authority, kan. Habislah you punya property. So, of course, you as strata owners, okay, you will want to extend the leasehold of the master lot. But who, di sini soalannya, who should make the application? Sebab Section 90A mengatakan the application should be made by the proprietor. So, adakah soalan di sini for strata properties, setiap parcel owner tu yang kena buat application? Okay. So, this is just a preview lah of what you're going to learn under strata law next year. Untuk master lot itu, okay, nama yang akan appear on the title will be the Perbadanan Pengurusan, will be the Management Corporation. And who is the Management Corporation? Management Corporation to everyone, all the strata proprietors, all the strata owners. So essentially, okay, yang akan the person or the party who will make the application is the MC, which is the Management Corporation on behalf of all strata owners. Itulah dia punya jawapan lah. But then again, you will learn that MC, Management Corporation tu ada a committee yang akan yang akan jalankan tugas harian. So it is essentially the committee of the Management Corporation who will make the application for lease extension untuk tanah yang mana mengandungi strata scheme di atasnya. Okay. Now, what about leasehold renewal? Ni renewal ni lain. Extension tadi, you ada tempoh lagi, you minta pemanjangan, kan? So, in this case, okay, you have run out of the leaseholder. Barulah perasan, oh, saya punya leasehold dah habis. If the leasehold has expired, the property owners will have no choice but to apply for renewal using the application for land re-alienation form. Ini dah re-alienation. Tak ada kena-mengena dengan tadi tu. Surrender and re-alienation. Ini application for fresh lah. Tapi re-alienation atas tanah tersebut. The subsequent procedures are the same as applying for an alienation. Yang mana boleh diberi, boleh juga ditolak. And also have to pay premium. Okay, says that, however, once the leasehold has expired, the property automatically reverts back to the state government. Tak ada tempoh bertenang tadi dah for the extension. Extension you ada a few years lagi, kan? unexpired, whereby you can take other actions. But in this case, since you have no more term on the land, okay, you sekarang dah trespasser tau, trespasser. And this allows anyone to apply for the land. You sekarang ni and also anyone else have the right to apply for the land because the land is now state land. State land maknanya open to anyone lah sebab tak ada title. Okay, and even if you apply for re-alienation, there's no guarantee that you will be re-alienated the same land. So that's all. Okay, I thank you for your attention. If there's any parts that you are not clear, you can replay again and pause. Yeah, replay again and pause at the parts that you are not clear and read the slides. Thank you.